It's Kendo Nagasaki right now with a quick takedown on Jerry Gray. Gray, who has improved tremendously since I first saw him compete, is facing, though, one of the most experienced Oriental veterans in the world today, Kevin.
Well, good, and this is what you're going to do when you're a young man starting out. You got to go right from the top, because that's what the only chance you get is hopefully that you'll come and gain enough experience to get a win and put yourself right up there amongst the money and go for the big ones.
Good takedown by Nagasaki, now into a lateral press. Referee Bill Alfonso checking those shoulders. And it again, Nagasaki catches him using his feet so very effectively. And as I've said so many times before, and Kevin, you faced men like him before. He'll come at you in all directions at one time.
Well, and that's the thing about this. You know, you can't back up. You have to be facing him just. You can't counter wrestle a man like this. You have to be coming at him full force. This man's a whirlwind. And the thing about these Japanese wrestlers, they're terrifically conditioned athletes, just like the rest of the wrestlers you see here in Florida.
Certainly no question about the conditioning, and Jerry Gray now would like to, if he could, get enough overhead hook on his man to try, but now changes his tactics, goes to his side and explodes to the midsection, one to the side of the jaw. Another one by Jerry Gray, and another in Nagasaki. Rips across the face of Jerry Gray.
This Nagasaki is a machine. I'd just like to mention this, Gordon, as you brought out, Jerry Gray's a young man, and there, besides the inexperience, the nervousness you get before you face a man like Kendo Nagasaki is, it has a tendency to take away from your wind if the match goes longer than a couple of minutes. Right now, Jerry Gray's sucking at the wind as hard as he can, and he knows he's in there with a veteran, and Nagasaki's just cruising. He's in third gear. He hasn't kicked it in yet, and when he does, I don't think Jerry Gray's going to be able to stand much more of this.
Interesting observation from Kevin Sullivan, and it's Nagasaki continuing to close in on Jerry Gray. Back into the far turnbuckle now. We're going to be seeing Big John Studd and Angelo Mosca tag team action a little bit later on. Backdrop by Nagasaki has Gray back to the canvas, and Nagasaki punishing Gray, catching him in the side of the head. J.J. Dillon strolling around at ringside, somewhat somber today, and this is rather unusual for Mr. Dillon. He's obviously has something on his mind. He has steadily put together one of the most powerful groups of wrestlers I've ever seen in the sport.
Good right here. Gray's got a second burst of wind, but what I said before, it's just like Nagasaki's just cruising. I'm not taking anything away from Gray. He's a young, good, talented athlete, but he's got to get that experience, and right now, he just took his head right off. That man ain't getting up. It's that simple.
Count of three. A count of three by Kendo Nagasaki as he scores the pinfall on Jerry Gray. And, of course, there's that strange green fog again. And a very, very jubilant J.J. Dillon joining Nagasaki.
That was uncalled for.
It was indeed, but nonetheless, the victor in this match, Kendo Nagasaki. Tommy Wright moving on well. And Scott McGhee caught him. Good high hip toss up and over his man. Woo.
Tough shot. You know, Gordon, I'm really impressed with this Scott McGhee. What a fine athlete he is, and he's certainly a gentleman on the street too. And him and Terry Allen have been doing a lot of tag teaming together, and they've been very successful. And their styles really complement each other, and they're both learning from each other too, which is great.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. They have turned into be quite a dynamite combination. But I'll tell you something. Scott's going to have his hands full with Tommy Wright. Tommy has been improving, I think, faster than any competitor I've seen in a long, long time. with that, he and Scott both having that sort of low center of gravity. Both men are extremely quick, very fast. This could be one heck of a match.
Sure should, Gordon. This should be a great contest. You're absolutely right. I've noticed Tommy Wright improving every day. You know, he's still young, and he's got a long way to come there. He takes a little shortcut.
I was talking to Captain Lewis. You know, he heads up the Texas Bull Roper Band the other day, and he was commenting on Scott McGhee. And, of course, Scott is from Scotland and has a rather pronounced accent, but I'll guarantee you his actions speak for him.
They sure do, Gordon. Sure do. Scott was an outstanding amateur wrestler, too, by the way. Tommy Wright went back to that rear chin lock.
McGhee now be trying to slide away from that if he can. Caught on a side headlock now. And around the body into a modified backbreaker, rather, and it is...
Wright kicked out.
Rough body block, beautifully executed. Almost had Scott, and that's where these men are so fast and so quick and are thinking. Rolling reverse.
Yeah, you know, anybody could win at any given time here, Gordon. Like you said earlier, Tommy Wright's certainly coming on right now. He went for a slam, and McGhee kicked. Got the 2 count.
Well, I think, as you mentioned before, the matches got underway today, that when you were looking over the lineup of matches, and you said that any one of them could go at the count of 3, that the competition is extremely even, and it's a point well taken, and I think professional wrestling has developed into that. McGhee ducks to one side. Wright caught that shoulder in the turnbuckle. It was McGhee very quickly with a lateral press, but Wright was able to power out. McGhee brings him full body slam once again.
You notice there, Gordon, Scott's always thinking. Seems like he's one step ahead of his man.
Wright showing that he's made a very, very tough stuff indeed. Came away from that. Suplex and bridge. Got the pin. A well-deserved victory, but certainly plaudits go to Tommy Wright as well. An outstanding match. Scott McGhee is the victor. Harry Windham, and his head being racked with pain right now, fires to the rib cage of Roberts. Catches him in the rib cage again. Roberts fought for a 3rd time, and Windham may think he knows something here as he begins to punish the body of Jake the Snake Roberts. Windham catching him again. Roberts fires back. And the intensity is there on the part of both men, and again he caught him on the belt line.
Barry's also having trouble with that nose guard. You know, that nose is broken, and I don't care what anybody says when you have a broken nose or anything wrong, even if you're not trying to pay attention to, oh, he just drove him right through him. He just ran right through him. It was like that big Mosca used to do in the Canadian Football League, man. He just knocked someone down and walked all over him. Barry better get up.
Roberts pressing full advantage now as Barry Windham is down again. And Roberts very much ahead at this point in time now. Roberts getting a rear chin lock on Windham.
You know, Gordon, it's a sorry state when a guy like Roberts has to stoop as low as he does for whatever reason he's been doing it, because he's a terrific athlete. I mean, these are 2 of the cream of the crop, and that's a legal hold, and he's punishing Barry right now. He's punishing him hard. Beautiful move. Barry's thinking.
Barry catapulting Roberts into that turnbuckle, caught him across the chest, and Barry catches him with a hard right hand. Barry Windham fires again below the ear that time, and arm whips him in.
Oh.
Leapfrog by Roberts.
Oh.
Windham.
That's it, Gordon. That's it. There's no way he's getting up.
Don't bank on it. Windham's back on his feet again, and Windham has taken tremendous punishment.
I can't believe that he's up. I can't.
I don't know what's keeping Windham on his feet now. It's got to be sheer instinct and just all heart.
It's guts. Right. Oh, he dumped him over. He'll get the squat.
Windham taking the battle outside the ring.
The referee didn't see that.
The count is on. The count is on, and Barry Windham, as Roberts trying to get back into the ring. Windham is in. Roberts is out. The count.
I can't.
Brother, did he catch him with that knee? Roberts protesting. I don't know that Barry Windham, when Roberts went over that top rope, I don't think that was intentional, but the winner is, he was back in the ring before the count of 10. He moves on in the tournament is Barry Windham.
He had the right idea at first, you know, he was trying to stay away from big Angelo Mosca, and if he would have kept that in mind, he probably would be doing a lot better off, but instead he gets a little excited like young kids do. Now he's pounding away at Angelo Mosca, and to no prevail, it doesn't do him any good. He gets him a forearm upside the head. Angelo Mosca, you know, a very talented individual, you know, not only a fine wrestler, a fine competitor, but, you know, a Canadian Football Hall of Famer. In very good shape, in very good condition, trains 5 days a week. Right now he has Tommy Wright in a very bad position.
Control the head, you control the body, and Mosca obviously very pleased. There you see J.J. Dillon holding that helmet and watching his man, Nasty Angelo Mosca.
J.J. always holds on to that helmet, you know, because it more or less signifies Angelo Mosca's great talents and great attributes to professional football, and it's a thing that he kind of likes to have around, you know, every time he gets a win or something. He enjoys having his football helmet there. It's something like, reminds him of the brilliant past that he's had with football. But now, of course, it doesn't match his brilliance in professional wrestling.
Brings it with him more as a talisman now than anything else, I'm sure, but it is Wright having problems getting to his feet now as Mosca continues to mount an ever-increasing attack on Tommy Wright. Wright hurtled backwards from that top ring rope, and Mosca in with a lateral press does not allow the pin, although...
well, what Gordon, I don't mean to interrupt you or anything, but that goes to show you what kind of a gentleman Angelo Mosca is. He's going to give the guy another chance. He's going to give him a chance. You know, that would be a great feather in Tommy Wright's cap if he could beat Angelo Mosca here on national television. But no, the gentleman that Angelo Mosca is, again, giving him another chance to prove himself in the world of professional wrestling.
Mosca with a forearm sledgehammer across the back that has Wright down on one knee and up against those ring ropes. Mosca closing in again. And Mosca, like a lot of great wrestlers, concentrates on the vertebrae, on the spinal column itself. And that's one of the reasons, of course, so many professional wrestlers do suffer a lot of back injuries because of competitors like Mosca.
Oh, very good. Angelo Mosca, very good. JJ again, you can hear him in the corner cheering Angelo on. JJ is an inspirational man. He is an inspiration to me. He's an inspiration to Angelo Mosca. A fantastic forearm to young Tommy Wright's head again.
Count of 3.
Right in the middle.
Angelo Mosca pinning Tommy Wright for the count of 3, and Bill Alfonso now telling him to relinquish and release. And there you see the helmet being thrown into the ring for, and there's Mosca, and he's still, sometimes I wonder if he doesn't sometimes think he's back on the gridiron, but the winner of the match, Angelo Mosca. Scott McGhee and Terry Allen, the tag team that Barbara Clary will be talking to later on during her Take 5, going up against the Texan and Tommy Wright. And it's going to be very interesting. Beautiful move by Terry Allen. Took the Texan to the canvas in a hurry.
You know, Gordon, this team of Terry Allen and Scott McGhee, this is going to be a team that people need to be watching a little bit. You got some youth on these guys' side, and you also got some power. And Terry Allen's a very strong individual, and this Scott McGhee's been gone for a while. I understand he's coming back. He's looking probably 10, 15 pound heavier when he left here, and this team to really go a long way, Gordon.
Question about that. Terry Allen with a good high hip toss on the Texan. The Texan coming up rather slowly, and Allen Extremely aggressive. More aggressive than I've seen him recently. And it may be some newfound confidence here in having Scott McGhee back at his side.
You know, Gordon, it's that experience that he's coming to get in there, too, a little bit. You know, the more that you get in that ring, the more you get comfortable with the different moves, the more experience, and the more, I guess you would say, the aggressiveness is coming to him now. And that's what you've got to have in this sport, Gordon. You've got to be an aggressive individual. And they're really displaying it right now.
Reversal, and McGhee now with the full Nelson. Good break by the Texan, and McGhee. That is man kind of coming off the ropes. Good flying drop kick by McGhee. McGhee with a snap there to the Texan into a rear chin lock.
Young Scott's really a mover, I see, Gordon. Man, has really improved, I guarantee, since he's been gone.
No question about that. And a hip lock takedown by Terry Allen. The Texan gets the head scissors. Allen comes out of it, back on his feet, exceptionally fast for a man as large as he is.
You know, Terry's got to go in the neighborhood 240, 250, and like I say, he moves like a 200-pound individual, very agile, and right now we've been seeing a very good match here, Gordon. I've seen a lot of good moves already, and it's been a fast-paced match so far. If these gentlemen can keep a match up like this, say 30, 40 minutes, what conditioning all these athletes would be in.
Side headlock now by Tommy Wright, and a good move there into a hammerlock on Terry Allen. Wright and the Texan are a serious force to contend with. Good reversal by Terry Allen on Tommy Wright. Gets over, makes the tag. Scott McGhee slips through the ropes. Arm drag and twist reversal by Wright. Reversal by Scott. Scott McGhee is a chain wrestler. Moves directly from move to move, and does it very, very effectively.
Well, what I'm really surprised at, I'm seeing these gentlemen, they're in and out of that ring, and they're doing it very smoothly, like they've been doing it for years now. And that's something that a tag team really has to work on and really get down tight, is that moving in and out of the ring, and they're losing no movement, they're losing no momentum, I guess you could say. They're staying right on their man. One goes right into the same maneuver or same hold as the other one, keeping it at bay, as you could say.
Fireman carry takedown by Terry Allen, then into a full slam by Tommy Wright, but Allen hung in there, and so Wright found himself at the receiving end of that. There again is that tag.
That's right, and watch them go right back. They're staying right on that arm. These guys have really learned, when you get a point starting to weaken down a little bit, stay with it, and that's what they've done so far.
McGhee exploding on Wright as Wright took a cheap shot at him, and McGhee retaliating very, very quickly. Beautiful front-to-front souffle and slam, and it was the tag is made once again with Terry Allen.
There goes the shortcut. That's the first shortcut we've seen really today, Gordon. Looks like Tommy Wright says, well, I'm going to have to go for it right now or never, and that's what they're doing.
And you and Dusty got some new Charlie stock for your ranch.
Well, Dusty, he was been telling me he wanted to go with the Beefmaster herd, and I said, let's try with the old true and blue one there, but we kind of had a little dispute over it. I won out this time. We got our Charlies.
Terry Allen powering out before the count of three, and Tommy Wright in there with a rear chin lock.
This is the first time that the team of McGhee and Allen have been on defensive. It's going to be interesting to see how they come out of this and how they flare now.
Interesting observation by Ron Bass, and it's Wright driving that knee and catching Terry Allen across the chest again with that knee. Allen coming up, grimacing in pain. Allen explodes to the midsection. Allen with the forearm to the side of the head, and it is Wright glancing off the forehead, and Allen closes in again. Good drop kick by Terry Allen as the tag with McGhee. Blade and pin from the bridge.
Like I said, Gordon, this is a young team. It's a young, aggressive team. Both of them are very good athletes, and this is going to be a team that people are going to have to be watching around here right now, I guarantee you.
The victors, Scott McGhee and Terry Allen. it over to our ring announcer.
This match one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from Dillon, South Carolina, the man known as the hardest head in professional wrestling, Mr. Excitement, the Freight Train, Rufus R. Jones. His opponent from Ohio, weighing in at 220 pounds, Jerry Gray.
All right, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Our first opportunity to watch him in action. Rufus R. Jones, the Freight Train.
I'll tell you what, Gordon Sully, right here's a man that's going to have to be dealt with in this area right now. This Rufus R. Jones has been around a while. He knows all the tricks of the ring, and I guarantee you, Mr. Garvin wanted to get in that ring a minute ago. He thought he's had him a pushover in the ring. Well, I got news for you, Mr. Garvin. You better think twice about jumping in the ring with a big freight train, because he gets it going, son, he'll roll right over you.
He's got it together and then some. There's no question about that.
You know, this all stems from Dillon. I believe Mr. Dillon had a run-in with Rufus R. in Kansas, and I think Dillon come out on the short end of the stick, and he'd definitely like to see somebody get Mr. Jones back for him, but I tell you what, Rufus, he walks tall and he stays in there all the way.
He does indeed, and I'll tell you what, too, I have had an opportunity to watch him in various sections of the country, and there is one serious mistake that people make with Rufus R. Jones, and that's if they think they're going to get into a headbutt contest. They might as well forget it, man.
Oh, it's all over, son. Case closed. You just do not, and I repeat, you do not try to match headbutts with Rufus R. Because I guarantee you, without question, that is the hardest head professional wrestling right there.
Well, he just caught Jerry Gray right at the belt line, drove him to the canvas, and brings him up now, full body slam. And Gray came down on his shoulder and the top of his head. And Rufus R. catches him once again.
Now he's got the train going now, Gordon. That's just about it, friend. I guarantee you. All over.
Here's a match that would sell out the Sunrise Musical Theater or the Coliseum in Jacksonville or the Cow Palace in San Francisco or you name it. And we're getting it right here on Championship Wrestling 82. Global Tag Team Champions in action. Obviously a non-title bout, I might add, but nonetheless. Takedown on a good escape by Brian Blair. Blair up and over his man, Garvin. Leapfrog by Blair. Blair caught him with a beautiful forearm and across the side of the jaw. Went right for the pin, but Garvin able to get away from it. Barry Windham makes the tag now. Talk about a great count. Windham with a bolo-like forearm. Another one. Puts Garvin to the canvas, and brother, you talk about a fired-up team, Blair and Windham. And Windham again using that tremendous leverage. Has Garvin in a lot of trouble. Garvin had better get over and tag up, or he's liable to find those shoulders down for the count of 3. Windham after him. He's got him. What? No, sir. But for a moment he had the 3 count. Again, the tag is made. Good tag team effort on the part of Blair and Windham. Big John Studd pacing back and forth outside. Windham. Blair catching him once again. Blair up and over Garvin. That time Garvin was set and ready, but Blair breaks it up. Out of 2 and almost 3 again. Garvin has been on the borderline of trouble. Good move on the part of Blair. Keeps now Garvin beginning to retaliate, driving that knee to the midsection. Reversal by Blair. Has Garvin up. He's got him in the airplane spin. And it's Windham making the tag, and Garvin in a lot of trouble here. The referee was knocked outside the ring, and Windham caught him with a lariat. Has him for the pin. Big John Studd breaking it up. And Windham hurdled over that top rope by Big John Studd, and and it is Blair outside. The referee calls for the bell. He's stopping the match. And Big John Studd disqualified. And Wright trying to catch him with a second drop kick. Upended by Sullivan. And Sullivan, wholly efficient. Wright hurtled from the ring. Sullivan's, whose philosophies certainly no longer border on cultism, but I cannot help but believe that he is a cult of his own. Right off the rope. Sullivan caught him. The Boston Baffler caught him with the right hand. Didn't allow the pin and puts him back down again. Now Sullivan just punishing his man and humiliating him at the same time. Sullivan bouncing on that rope, comes down across Tommy Wright. And again doesn't allow the pin. And this is the sadistic streak in Kevin Sullivan. Shoulder breaker. Got 3. It's all over. And look at this. See, he is over. Character of both Terry Allen and Scott McGhee, and they've got Snake Roberts in some trouble out there. Roberts back into the ring once again.
Whoa, looks like that young Scott McGhee's pretty fired up over the whole situation. This should be very interesting, Gordon. Jake Roberts right now with the side headlock. Scott McGhee firing him off. Hip toss, Jake Slow getting up into a good arm drag. He's not a bad kid, this Scott McGhee. Scott McGhee one day might be a top competitor. Right now, he's just probably a little bit excited, and sometimes that gets a person in trouble when they get a little too excited. Like me, for instance. It's a good thing I got a good sense of humor. There's some jerk running around the whole state of Florida trying to put me in some weasel suit. It's a good thing that I'm kind of a friendly guy, and it's a good thing that I have a tremendous amount of confidence in myself as being the greatest athlete that Florida's ever born. Otherwise, I would be pretty upset, Gordon.
Yeah, well, Rufus R. Jones will have that opportunity with you tonight over at the Bayfront. And, of course, I noticed Kevin Sullivan staying outside the ring. He is facing Dusty Rhodes in a Prince of Darkness match. So tonight should prove to be very, very interesting in just a little while from now. In the meantime, Snake Roberts has Terry. Double teaming now on Terry Allen by Kevin Sullivan. Good block by Terry Allen.
Using the hair to run Kevin Sullivan's head into the turnbuckle. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the things that I have to put up with. Myself, Kevin Sullivan, Jake the Snake, Mean Nasty Angelo Mosca. We have to fight fire with fire. Survival, man. It's survival. Double teaming, man. Everybody's doing it. Hey, it's either them or us. Figure it out. It's like a guy that works in a factory. Who wants the job bad enough? Who's going to load more boxes? I'll tell you who's going to load more boxes onto the freight train. It's the guy that wants the job more.
Well, that appears to be Scott McGhee and Terry Allen right now. Snake Roberts charging into the ring.
He put a stop to that.
Terry Allen, who had just competed in a very tough match against the Destroyer, back out there with Scott McGhee. Snake Roberts with a full slam on Scott McGhee.
Allen coming in with both fists doubled up. Jake Roberts backing off into collar and elbow. Terry Allen reverse arm lock. Nice kick, nice knee lift, fantastic maneuver. Completely legal, side of the boot and all that.
Tag is made now. Kevin Sullivan moving into the ring against
What you're looking at, Gordon Soley, is two seasoned individuals. Kevin Sullivan, Jake the Snake Roberts have been down the road many, many times. Many times. These two other young punks, which I wish them a lot of luck, but they're young punks in my book, just like Kevin and Jake said, are just fresh pieces of meat, more or less, in the world of professional wrestling. Gasoline is getting no cheaper to buy, Gordon. You know that. Airline tickets are getting no cheaper to purchase.
Good reversal that time by Terry Allen, and Kevin Sullivan caught him with that. I might point out Sullivan is wearing a pair of cowboy boots. And, brother, that's about the way you'd step into a ring for a bunkhouse match. Just about the way Kevin Sullivan is right now. A pair of jeans, a pair of cowboy boots, and a belt.
I think, personally, that Terry Allen and young Scott McGhee have very, very bad timing for coming out and making a challenge at the time that they came out.
Mr. Garvin, they did not make the challenge. The challenge was made by Kevin Sullivan and Snake Roberts, and Allen and McGhee merely answered that challenge. The tag is made once again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you that is simply an editorial comment made by your host, Gordon Sullivan.
And I shall stand behind it, sir. Count of 2, and it is Terry Allen coming out before the count of 3. Kevin Sullivan issuing more punishment. And Allen has his hands full now. Needs to get over and tag up with Scott McGhee. Caught a thumb in the throat. Allen tried to make the tag and was pulled away by Kevin Sullivan. Smashed into Snake Roberts' knee.
Experience tells, Gordon Soley. Experience tells. You should know, you and I have been sitting under this roof here since I was 9 years old together. I've been an athlete in this building and in the Bay Area since I was 9 years old. I stepped into this sportatorium and had my first match. And no man, whether it be the Bayfront, St. Louis, Saginaw, Michigan, is going to put me in those stinking weasel suits. Now, here's Scott McGhee coming in all fired up. I hope it lasts. I hope he has the energy to take on both of these men, Jake the Snake and Kevin Sullivan, just like he's trying to do.
Scott McGhee in that perpetual motion situation here has Snake Roberts backed up. Roberts tried to move out. Scott McGhee caught in a side headlock, fires him off the ropes. McGhee ducks to one side. Roberts in trouble. McGhee has
What a
him.
suplex!
Beautiful suplex.
Nobody can do a suplex like him. I have to give the punk credit.
We've got a 4-way free-for-all here. Terry Allen hurdled outside the ring. And now Snake Roberts, and wait a second. Kevin Sullivan has taken off that cowboy boot, and we've got a bunkhouse going here. We've got a bunkhouse
going. The man
going.
is getting exactly what he deserves, Mr. Soley. That man is getting exactly what he deserves. This is no monkey business. This is no place for babies, man. They came out here and bit off more than they can chew, and that is obvious to the eye.
The referee has called for the bell. The referee has called for the bell.
Now that's what reality is. That's reality.
Barry Windham moving out against Tommy Wright. Again, Barry Windham in the red trunks, the taller, the rangier of the two. A good spin under takedown. Another spin under takedown by Barry Windham. Windham, who has got a lot of things on his mind right now and feels very upset for a set of circumstances concerning Dusty Rhodes and the Southern Heavyweight Championship, but right now has a good solid armbar on Tommy Wright.
That's right, Gordon. I nearly forgot about it. Congratulations, congratulations, American Dream. You lost the Southern Heavyweight title. Yep, that's right. He lost it all right. I am so happy. I am so ecstatic that finally someone like the likes of Kevin Sullivan can represent. I'm sorry it's not myself, but Kevin Sullivan is a great athlete, a fine competitor. He's not afraid to put the title on the line. He's not afraid of flying airplanes all over the South, and I think he's going to make a good champion. Congratulations, Dusty Rhodes. You lost the Southern title.
Well,
enough of that.
Mr. Garvin, the manner in which the title was lost, I'll go into later, but
excuses,
it's
man.
not an excuse at all.
Excuses here, Gordon. Now, you and I have been sitting here long enough together. There's no use for us to argue in front of millions and millions of fans. The man lost the title.
Far be it from me to argue with you, Mr. Garvin. And it's Barry Windham with the full arm drag and twist now on Tommy Wright.
Windham has a lot on his mind. That's the truth. He has Jimmy Garvin on his mind, the greatest athlete ever to come out of the state of Florida.
And I think Jimmy Garvin has Rufus R. Jones on his mind, does he not?
Rufus R. Jones, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, you got one man here that at one time or another you have to stand up for yourself. I have stood up for myself in this state for almost 10 years now as a professional athlete, and this guy that's running around here with this weasel suit, and if he thinks for 1 minute that he's going to put the fabulous Jimmy Garvin, Tampa's own, man, Tampa's own Jimmy Garvin in a weasel suit, well, brother, there ain't a man walking the face of this earth that can put me where I don't want to be put.
Right, caught with another spin under takedown by Barry Windham. Windham to an inside armbar, has Wright back to the canvas.
Windham, too. Windham's a very good athlete. Very good athlete. He's not too shabby. He's going to get maybe a little better in time. He's got the arm drag really down and an arm bar. He can do that real well. By now, if he was holding me in that, I'd be in it for exactly 2 seconds. 4 seconds later, he'd be on his back. And 7 seconds later, the match would be over. Simply calculated just like that. JJ taught me how to do that, I want you to know.
I see. Wright drives the knee to the midsection, then an elbow to the top of the skull, another and another. And Windham being rocked now by Tommy Wright as Wright continues to punish him.
Windham's got a glass jaw, man. Tommy Wright just got to peg him right in the right spot, and Windham goes down like a wet towel, man. I've done it so many times.
And Windham has been lacerated, and Windham firing back now, long looping right hands, and Wright getting the worst of it here. Tommy Wright arm whipped into the near turnbuckle, and Windham sizing him up right, holding back in that corner, and Windham has him up, full body slam.
A knee across the throat, Gordon Soley. You forgot to mention the knee across the throat that Barry Windham just did to Tommy Wright. Once again, these are things that I have to put up with. Trying to represent professional wrestling in an orderly and gentlemanly manner. Having the likes, there was the lariat, illegal lariat across the throat for the 3 count.
Windham, rapidly his face becoming a crimson mask, emerges victorious over Tommy Wright using the lariat.